Morning, guys. Happy Friday. Welcome to Morning Joe with me, Jim, even though it's water this morning. I already had a cup of Joe. And so I just wanted to share one thing with you. It's funny, last night I was in a meeting with probably 8 real estate investors, 8 or 9, something like that. And one of them said, well, with all the stuff in the news, should we be holding off on buying real estate right now? And the consensus, and it was a good discussion. I thought it brought up a very good discussion because it's real. You have to wonder about that. And if you're looking at buying your first home or next home, the same question comes up, right? And it should. So I thought we'd look at some data behind it because the discussion was great. And the conclusion was, yeah, you got to buy right. But yeah, it's a good time to buy. It's a very good time to buy because let's look at why. Well, I don't want to preempt this. So everyone's wondering, I watch a lot of guys on YouTube and I don't know, I think it gets more views if you're sensational. Maybe I should try that. I'm on YouTube. But the supply of homes is nothing like 2007, 8, 9, etc. We had a large supply of homes compared to the demand, and the demand was falling. I've talked about that before, but basically, first-time home buyers, the median age of a first-time home buyer forming a household, leaving a home and forming a new home, right, is 33 years old. Well, the number of 33-year-olds from 2005 through 9 was declining. And now it's not. It's quite the opposite. It's increasing. So the demand is increasing, but the supply is nowhere near where we were. So, and it's all about supply and demand, right? Demand is increasing, supply is not enough. What do you think will happen with home prices once we stabilize here? And I think we are. Lending standards are still under control, right? So in the housing bubble, pretty much anyone, just face it, pretty much anyone could get a mortgage, right? And we know that. And now you're verifying income, you're verifying assets, you have to have much better credit, et cetera, et cetera. So you have a down payment, right? In most cases, there's USDA 0 down, there's VA 0 down, but in most cases you have a down payment, so you have equity in the property. And finally, I looked at this one yesterday. Someone told me last week, foreclosures are up 400%. Well, okay, from where? From here. And that's too bad. I don't want anyone to go through that and lose their home. But sometimes things do happen. But the foreclosure rate is 0.3% of all homeowners. I just read that stat yesterday. 0.3%. It's the lowest it's been in decades, or just off at the lows that's been in decades. The lows were the moratorium, where no one had to pay their mortgage and you couldn't foreclose for a while. These are lows, decade lows, if you look at it, going way back, if you exclude the moratorium. All that to say, should you buy a home right now? Yeah, again, I've said it before, rates are high. They're starting to come down, and I think that's going to be a trend, fingers crossed. I think it'll be a trend after November 10th for sure. But I wouldn't wait for rates to come down to 5% or wherever they bottom out, because everyone's going to jump back in the market. It'll be much more difficult to get the seller to pay your closing costs. Right now, you actually can, and I'm seeing quite a bit. Sellers are paying closing costs. You're getting a good deal. You're not paying over appraised value like you did last year. And you might again when rates hit high 4s or wherever they hit in several months' time, because you can always refinance. If you have the house, it's much easier to refinance than to get in a bidding war and try and win it. So all that to say, yeah, I'm very confident in the market because of the data behind it, because of the data. And if you are, I'd love to help you get pre-approved and into this housing market. Just reach out. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day.